Hello friends, today in this video we are going to see a short topic of aphasia. Very simple term, what is aphasia? It is disorder of language or inability to communicate. As we all know, there are various types of aphasias, 10 to be precise, and this is a table from Harrison's. It shows 10 types of aphasia and its features. So at the end of the video, we will come back to this table and we will try to understand each and every word that is written in this table. Moving on with our topic, one thing I would like to say that anomia is most common finding in patients of aphasia. Anomia is most common finding in aphasia. What is anomia? Anomia is inability to name things or objects. We all get anomia, right? In vivas or theory exams, we cannot remember certain names of syndromes, names of signs like that. So anomia is very common feature in aphasia. There is one other terminology that is paraphasia. Patient is able to come up with a word, but it is not the correct word. I will give you an example. First, we will see that there are three types of paraphasias. One is semantic, other is phonetic, and third is neologistic. So normally, if I show a pencil to a person and ask what is it, he or she will say this is a pencil. But if patient has semantic paraphasia, if I show him pencil, he or she will say that this is a pen. The patient has a concept in mind that it is something that is used to write on the paper, like that. But they will not be able to come up with a perfect word for that object that is pencil. For other example, if we show patient stethoscope, he or she will tell that this is telescope. You know, almost similar sounding words. But telescope and pen both are present in our dictionaries, both have some meaning. So this is semantic paraphasia. Now what is phonetic paraphasia? Phonetic paraphasia is patient will not be able to pronounce the name correctly. For example, if I show patient a piece of paper, he or she will say this is a paper, not paper. If I show patient a pencil, he or she will say this is a plantain, not pencil. So this is phonetic. There is a problem in phonation. So phonetic paraphasia. And what is neologistic paraphasia? The patient will come up with a totally new name which we don't know the meaning of. It will not be in the dictionary, something like that. If I show patient a pen, he or she will say any new word. Let's say Barnet. I don't know the meaning of Barnet. Even patient in patient's mind, the patient thinks that Barnet means pen. Barnet is used to write on the paper. Barnet has blue ink or black ink or whatever, something like that. But in real life, Barnet is not present in dictionary or Barnet have no meaning. Barnet word has no meaning. So this is neologistic paraphasia. Coming back to our topic, to describe these 10 types of aphasias, first we will see the basic circuit of speech. And it will be very easy once we learn this basic circuit of speech. So, as we all know, there are two areas associated with speech. One is Broca's area and other is Wernicke's area. As we can see here, Broca's area is present in inferior frontal gyrus and Wernicke's area is present in superior temporal gyrus, right? And read here, this is left side view of the brain. Why? Because both speech areas are present only in dominant hemisphere, which is also known as categorical hemisphere, which is left sided usually. On the right-sided hemisphere, these both areas are absent. Right-sided is non-dominant or representational hemisphere. One other fact I would like to say here that in this Sylvian fissure, we know that this is central sulcus and this is Sylvian sulcus, right? So in this Sylvian sulcus, there is middle cerebral artery. So superior branch of middle cerebral artery will supply Broca's area and inferior branch of middle cerebral artery will supply Wernicke's area. We will use this knowledge of our anatomy in respective aphasias. And as we know, anything in front of central sulcus is motor, and anything behind central sulcus is sensory. So Broca's area will be motor speech area and Wernicke's area will be sensory speech area. Now we will draw the circuit in a very simplified way. So this is Broca's area, this is Wernicke's area, right? This is connection between Broca's and Wernicke's area. Fasciculus, we'll just keep it simple and say this is connection between Broca's motor area and Wernicke's sensory area. Now, Broca's area has connection with motor association area, motor association cortex. So, MAC is motor association cortex or motor association area. Wernicke's area will have connection with sensory association area or sensory association cortex. SAC is sensory association cortex or sensory association area. Wernicke's area has connection with two more things. One is visual and one is auditory. Now we all know that let's keep visual back because we know that visual cortex is present in occipital and auditory cortex is also present in temporal lobe. Okay. So Wernicke's area is connection with auditory cortex and visual cortex. So this is our basic circuitry of aphasia. Any disruption in connections or any problem in any of these areas will lead to aphasia. So now we will see various types of aphasia and where the lesion will be. So as you can see in the table here, any aphasia is described or checked in four parameters. One is comprehension, repetition, naming, and fluency. So we will see four things. One is comprehension, repetition, naming, and fluency. Now we'll understand what each and every thing means. Comprehension is patient is able to understand whatever examiner is saying. That is comprehension. If I ask what is your name, you are able to understand the question, you are able to process it, and you will come up with an answer whatever your name is. So when I give auditory stimulus, the stimulus will go first to auditory area, then through this connection to Wernicke's area, then to sensory association cortex, because the highest center is sensory association cortex. So it is required to understand whatever input is given. So you have to understand if sensory association cortex is lost, so comprehension will be lost. Second thing is repetition. Repetition is you are repeating the same statement or same word after I am saying it. So as you can understand that there will be no role of sensory association cortex or motor association cortex in repetition. Our circuit of repetition will be first stimulus will go through auditory cortex to Wernicke's area through this communication to Broca's area, and Broca's area to muscle of phonation, right? If someone from Japan comes to me and say any word in Japanese language, I need not know the meaning of that word, or I need not know the Japanese language. I will just be able to repeat the same word even without knowing what it means, even without understanding. So there will be no role of motor association cortex or sensory association cortex in repetition. So you have to remember this basic arc: auditory cortex to Wernicke's to Broca's to muscles of phonation. Sorry. If this is broken, there will be problem in repetition. Naming is, as we saw earlier, naming is the um, most common thing to go in any patient of aphasia. So anomia will be most commonly seen in each and every type of aphasia except two we will see later. And fluency is ability of patient to speak in full formed sentences. Like if we are having conversation, the ability of my brain to process what I'm thinking in my mind and able to express it through verbal words or some sentences, that is fluency. So any aphasia is described in these four parameters. So we will see one by one. First, we will see Broca's aphasia. So there will be lesion in this Broca's area. Broca's area is what? Motor area. So Broca's aphasia is also called motor aphasia. Now you can see comprehension will be intact because see the auditory stimulus will go to auditory cortex. auditory cortex to Wernicke's area to sensory association cortex. This much is needed for comprehension. It will be normal in Broca's area. Repetition, as I said, repetition is the arc of auditory cortex, auditory to Wernicke's to Broca's, and Broca's to muscles of phonation. But here Broca's area is gone, so repetition will be lost. Then naming. As we saw earlier, naming is gone in almost every type of aphasia. So also in Broca's area, naming will be gone. Fluency. Broca's is motor speech area. So patient will not be able to articulate the words, what he or she is trying to say. So fluency will also be abnormal or decreased fluency. The patient speaks in a melodic or telegraphic voice. Other points of in Broca's aphasia, one very specific thing is seen is agrammatism. Patient will say sentences, but there will be no grammatical inputs in that sentence. Patient will just say words. Another thing is insight is present in Broca's area. In contrast to Wernicke's aphasia, insight is present in Broca's aphasia. As we will see in the next type of aphasia, Wernicke's aphasia, there is no insight. So patient doesn't know that he or she is having problems in communication. But in Broca's aphasia, patient will know that I am not able to communicate properly. Patient will feel, and when he or she tries to express the feeling, he or she will not be able to do it because there is a lesion in Broca's area. So patient will be frustrated and they are more tend to go in depression. Why? Because they are not able to express their feelings. As insight is present, they know that I am not able to express my feelings. Another thing is melodic intonation therapy. What is melodic intonation therapy? The patients of Broca's aphasia are able to speak normally when they are singing a song. So, melodic intonation therapy is a type of treatment directed to patients with Broca's aphasia where they are encouraged to say sentences in a song like manner. Okay, so this was Broca's aphasia. Then we will see Wernicke's aphasia. So, if Wernicke's area is gone, the patient will have Wernicke's aphasia. So same comprehension, repetition, naming and fluency. So comprehension will be gone because first the signal will go through auditory cortex to Wernicke's area. Array, but Wernicke's area is gone here. So there will be no comprehension. Repetition, no, Wernicke's area is gone. Stimulus will go to auditory cortex to Wernicke's area, but Wernicke's area is non-functional. So no repetition. Naming is gone as in every other aphasia. And fluency, see, the motor association cortex is normal. Connection between MSC and Broca's is normal. Broca's is also normal. So fluency will be normal or even increased in patient with Wernicke's aphasia. Why? Because normally Wernicke's aphasia keeps Broca's aphasia under inhibitory control. So whenever there is a lesion of Wernicke's area, the inhibitory control over Broca's area is gone. So the patient with Wernicke's aphasia will be said to have jargon speech when fluency is increased. Jargon speech, and the patient will also have neologism. As we saw earlier, patient will keep on inventing new word for the things. Coming to our third type of aphasia, it is global aphasia. What is global aphasia? Both Broca's and Wernicke's area are gone. So what is C? C is global aphasia. So both are gone. So everything will be impaired. Repetition gone, comprehension gone, naming gone, fluency gone. Both are abnormal. Now as we saw, the middle cerebral artery runs in Sylvian fissure. Superior branch will supply Broca's area, inferior branch will supply Wernicke's area. So in stroke of superior branch of middle cerebral artery, the patient will have Broca's aphasia. In stroke of inferior branch of middle cerebral artery, the patient will have Wernicke's aphasia. And in the stroke of stem of middle cerebral artery, where blood flow blood flow through both superior and inferior branch is compromised, the patient will have global aphasia. Okay, so now we move on to our next type. It is conduction aphasia. So there will be a problem in this communication between Wernicke's and Broca's area. So our D will be conduction aphasia. Comprehension. Will comprehension be normal? Yes. Why? Because auditory cortex is normal, auditory to Wernicke communication is normal, Wernicke's is normal, Wernicke's to sensory association cortex communication is normal. So comprehension will be normal. Repetition gone. Why? Because the repetition arc is interrupted. Communication between Wernicke's and Broca's gone. So repetition gone. Naming gone as in any other aphasia. Fluency same as Wernicke's aphasia. Fluency can be either normal or increased because communication is lost between Wernicke's and Broca's. So here also the inhibitory control of Wernicke's over Broca's area will be lost. So fluency will be either normal or increased. Okay. Then let's move on to next type. Next is lesion in here. So what will be E? This is lesion in communication between motor association cortex and Broca's area. So this will be motor aphasia or anterior transcortical because Broca's is placed anteriorly, right? So anterior transcortical aphasia or motor aphasia, transcortical motor aphasia or anterior transcortical aphasia. So will comprehension be normal? Yes, because auditory is normal, Wernicke's is normal, communication is normal, sensory association area is normal. So comprehension will be normal. Repetition is normal? Yes, here repetition is normal. As I said earlier, to articulate words, the motor association cortex is not needed because I need not know the meaning of word or I need not know the language. So it can be done by Broca's area only, which is normal in this condition. So repetition will also be normal. Naming will be gone and fluency will be gone. Why fluency will be gone? Because the signal will not come from motor association cortex to Broca's area. If signal doesn't come, then fluency will be affected. So fluency will be not be gone, fluency will be decreased. Then same lesion in the sensory lesion in the communication between Wernicke's area and sensory association area. So this will be F. What is F? Transcortical sensory or posterior transcortical. Same comprehension, repetition, naming and fluency. Comprehension gone. Why? Because auditory stimulus will come auditory to Wernicke's, no problem, but it will not be able to go to Wernicke's to sensory association area. So the patient will not be able to understand whatever we are saying. So comprehension gone. Repetition will be normal because auditory to Wernicke's is normal, Wernicke's to Broca's is normal. So that R is intact. Naming gone as in any other aphasia. Fluency will be normal because the the motor side is not affected, so the patient will be able to talk normally, so fluency will be normal. Then let's see our next type of aphasia, that is isolation aphasia. If you remove both this communication here, anterior transcortical plus posterior transcortical, if both of these are removed, there is a lesion in both communication, then what do we get? We get isolation aphasia. What is isolation aphasia? Lesion of both anterior transcortical communication and posterior transcortical communication. So same four aspects. Comprehension gone because posterior transcortical sensory communication is gone. Repetition will be intact. because there is no involvement of higher center in repetition process. So repetition will be intact. Naming gone. Fluency gone. Sorry, not gone. Fluency reduced. Why fluency reduced? Because connection between motor association cortex and Broca's area is lost. So fluency will be reduced. If you see here, everything is abnormal except repetition. So what will patient do? What we will say, patient will also repeat the same. What is this called? This is called as echolalia. Okay, so echolalia is a feature of isolation aphasia. Now, next type of aphasia is anomic aphasia. As the name says, in anomic aphasia, only naming will be gone. Rest all will be normal. And as we all know that this is the most common type of aphasia, most common finding in any other aphasia. If you see in all these types of aphasia, naming is gone. Okay, so anomia is most common finding in patient of aphasia. You have to remember anomic aphasia can be seen in three major conditions. One is head trauma, then Alzheimer's, and third is metabolic encephalopathy like uremia, hepatic encephalopathy, something like that. Okay, so anomic aphasia is seen in three conditions: head trauma, Alzheimer's, and metabolic encephalopathy. One thing I would like to say that in anomic aphasia, we said that fluency is normal, but when patient will be looking for some words as it is anomia, the patient will not be able to come up with words for things and objects. So there he or she will take pause. So there will be frequent pauses in speech, but fluency will be normal. The pause is for finding the word. Then these two area, 1 and 2. First we will see lesion between connection of auditory area and vernix area. So let's say this is H. Sorry, H is anomic aphasia. So let's say that this is I and this is J. Okay. So I is lesion between auditory area and vernix area. So what can we say? Can we say that this is pure word deafness? As patient is able to hear, but he or she is not able to comprehend whatever we are saying. Right? So this is pure word deafness. I is pure word deafness. Same thing. Comprehension will be gone. See, when we are checking comprehension, we are giving verbal stimulus. So, in pure word deafness, the patient's comprehension will be gone. But if you give something to read, the patient will be able to read and understand each and everything because patient's visual area is normal. So, on reading, comprehension will be normal. But clinically, comprehension is checked by verbal stimulus. So, we will say here that comprehension is gone. Then repetition. Repetition is also gone because same as with comprehension, in repetition we also give auditory stimulus, not visual stimulus. Then naming. Naming is normal in pure word deafness and fluency is also normal as motor area is normal, fluency will be normal. And then there is J. What is J? J is the lesion in communication between visual area and vernix area. So can we say that this is pure word blindness? Okay. J is pure word blindness. Comprehension normal. it will be decreased on reading, but clinically we see on verbal stimulus. So comprehension, we will say here that it is normal. Then repetition. Repetition is also normal because we give verbal stimulus. Then naming. Naming is also normal. Now pure word deafness and pure word blindness. These two are only aphasias where naming is normal. In every other type of aphasia, naming is gone. Right? And then last, fluency. Fluency will also be normal. So in pure word blindness, you have to uh, go back to your childhood and remember a movie called Tare Zameen Par. There we had Ishan Nandakishore Avasti. We can say that he had pure word blindness, although he had dyslexia, but the features are same because comprehension is decreased on reading, so he was not able to read, but he was able to name everything. He was fluent when communicating with his family members, something like that. So these are 10 types of aphasia, as we can see here, and we have made a table similar to what this is, Harrison's table. So now what we will do, we'll come back to this table and we will understand every word. Okay. So first type is Wernicke's aphasia. Comprehension impaired. Wernicke's is sensory aphasia. Comprehension impaired. Repetition impaired. Naming impaired. But fluency preserved or increased. Why increased? Because Broca's is under inhibitory control of Wernicke's. Second is Broca's aphasia. Broca's is motor. Comprehension preserved, except grammar, as we saw, agrammatism. Repetition impaired. Naming impaired. Fluency decreased. Third is global. Wernicke's plus Broca. Combine both, then we get global aphasia. Everything is impaired. Fluency is also decreased. Then conduction aphasia. Lesion in communication between Broca's and Wernicke's. Comprehension is preserved. Repetition impaired because arc is broken. Naming impaired. Fluency preserved because motor area is normal. Fifth is non-fluent or anterior transcortical. That is transcortical motor. Comprehension is preserved because sensory part is preserved. Repetition is preserved because the arc is not broken. Naming impaired. Fluency impaired. Sixth is fluent or posterior transcortical or transcortical sensory. Comprehension impaired because there is loss of communication between Wernicke's area and sensory association cortex. Repetition is preserved. Naming impaired as in every other aphasia. Fluency is also preserved because motor part is normal. Seventh is isolation aphasia. Isolation is both gone, anterior transcortical plus posterior transcortical. So comprehension is impaired. Repetition, we will see echolalia. Because the only repetition is normal, patient will keep on repeating whatever we are saying. Naming impaired. Fluency, no purposeful speech because motor area is gone. 8 is anomic aphasia, seen in three conditions: trauma, Alzheimer's, and metabolic encephalopathy. Comprehension preserved, repetition preserved, naming impaired, fluency preserved except for word finding pauses. As we saw, everything is normal except for naming. Ninth is pure word deafness, that is, problem in communication between auditory area and Wernicke's area. So comprehension is impaired only for spoken language, repetition is impaired, naming is preserved, and fluency is also preserved. And last type is pure alexia or pure word blindness. So comprehension impaired only for reading, repetition is preserved, naming is preserved, fluency is preserved. One thing you have to remember that naming is gone in all types of aphasia except pure word deafness and pure word blindness. Broca's area has agrammatism, and there is melodic intonation therapy for Broca's aphasia. Also, in Broca's aphasia, insight is present, so patient will be depressed. In Wernicke's aphasia, insight is absent. So in Wernicke's aphasia, patient has jargon speech, as we saw. The patient will be saying anything, but examiner will not be able to understand what patient is trying to say. So patient will have to keep on repeating same things again and again. And as we all know, we also get irritated, agitated. So in Wernicke's aphasia, patient will be irritated or agitated. While in Broca's aphasia, patient will be depressed because he or she is not able to express feelings. Okay. So this was a short topic of aphasia. I hope you like it. And now you can understand this image, what it was trying to tell. Okay. Thank you so much.